And then to throw out a word like necromancy. The audience that you're pandering to don't even understand that word. See, that's a word for the so-called educated lames. That if one of us was to say that to the average black woman, she'll think we were corny. All right, man, I found this on TikTok. I wanted to bring it to the platform and react to it. I'm going to tread lightly here because this gentleman is part of a protected class, and I don't want to get into any altercations with YouTube over hate speech or bullying or anything like that. So I'm not going to critique the gentleman himself. I'm going to actually be critiquing his points. So I want to make that very clear and preference that before we get into the reaction. I am not critiquing the gentleman. I am critiquing his points, which I think in a free country, we have the right to do. So the gentleman had quite colorful things to say about black men in regards to how we're failing as a group in our communities. So I wanted to bring it over and react to it. So let's just jump into it and really get our feet wet on this one. I think it's really beneficial if we start to look at certain people and how they perceive us, so we can actually sit down at a table and have a dialogue and a fruitful conversation. So before we get started, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. I need you guys to like, share, and comment on the content. Also, most importantly, please subscribe if you're digging on the content.
You know what, it seems pretty bold to ask something like that, seeing as how the only thing on most straight black men's resume is audacity. Y'all are literally the least qualified out of anybody in this country to lead somebody, but y'all always want to be in the front. But you know what, it's a special place in hell for a like you that my God, the entire community of people.
All right, let me start right there. First of all, he's responding to Umar Johnson. And I'm not going to get into why he's responding to Umar. I thought it was best just to focus on what he's saying. Now, straight out the gate, he's saying that only thing we have to offer as black men is audacity. What does that mean? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not understanding his vernacular. What does having audacity means in the context you're using it? You're saying that we have the audacity to expect respect. We have the audacity to want to be the leaders of our household. We have the audacity to want to be seen as men and to be respected in our masculine frame. Is that the audacity you're speaking about? Because that's the only audacity that black men require, to be respected as a man. And if you have an issue with that, sir, I believe you might want to look in the mirror and see what's going on with you while you have an issue with straight men, being that you're not part of that community. And the men that you are seeing are not straight men. So I'm trying to figure out how you have this critique of straight men when obviously you don't deal with straight men. But let's see if he explains. Bring the clip back.
Out of every subsection of the black community, y'all are the least educated and the most incarcerated. Please tell me what qualifies you besides the dick between your legs to lead somebody into anything. Y'all.
Let me stop right there. That's not true. He's saying that we're the least educated and most incarcerated. That's not true. The stats bear that out. Although black men may not attend college as much as black women, I believe black women are attending somewhere around 50-something%. Where black men at 30% is because black men choose to go into the trade field, sir, or the service field. Because a lot of black men don't want to go into debt to get a job that doesn't pay off that debt. So that's the first issue I have with you saying we're the least educated. No, we just don't go to school. And let me debunk a little issue for you. Black women are not the most educated. They're the most enrolled. And half of the time, they don't complete their degrees. Just saying. Bring the clip back.
I always want people to breathe life into y'all, but at this point, it's just pure necromancy because we have no more life to give. Y'all suck the life out of every fucking thing.
Now, who is we? What we are you talking about, sir? I'm at a loss here because the last time I checked, you're not dating or being in relationships with straight men unless you're telling me you are. And then that means that man is not straight. So what do you mean breathe life into us? You mean birth children? Because that's the only way I can tell if you're breathing life into another human being, sir. And then to throw out a word like necromancy. The audience that you're pandering to don't even understand that word. See, that's a word for the so-called educated lames. That if one of us was to say that to the average black woman, she'll think we were corny. So stop pandering, stop trying to come on here trying to sound like you're some pseudo intellectual by throwing out a word like necromancy that most of your audience doesn't even understand. Man, go on somewhere. Let's bring the clip back.
I mean, let's call the thing a thing. Y'all want to be white men so fucking bad. Y'all see white men at the heads of their household, and y'all can't even get a household to be the head of. Asking women questions like, what do they bring to the table when you don't even own your table, you rent it.
Like most Americans, you do realize that what 48% of Americans rent their homes, rent apartments. I mean, that's not just a black man thing. That's most Americans. About 49% of Americans own their home, and the other half rents. So that's stupid. We're asking what women bring to the table because we want to know what we're getting out of the deal, sir. So we can't ask what we get from the deal now. So asking what you, and I don't agree with asking women what they bring to the table. What you should be asking them is, what can you contribute to my life that I can't do on my own? That's a better question. And then yeah, this guy, man, he has a lot of contention. He has a lot of disrespect for black men. I don't know why, because straight black men, he's not in relationships with. And he keeps saying this stuff like we. Do you consider yourself a black female? Obviously you do. And that's weird. Let's bring the clip back.
Hell, that's even if you do rent it, because it's probably in your mama name. I mean, if we could call the thing a thing, y'all are the common denominator out of every issue that we have in the black community. Y'all are literally the root cause. Blame black women for fatherless behavior, but then fail to realize that the father is the person that you're not blaming. Y'all.
Let me stop right there. we're going back to that point where you're saying don't blame black women for fatherless children or not having fathers in the household. Let me ask you this question, sir. A family comprises of a husband, a wife, and children. If a woman decides to lay up with a man and not produce a child in matrimony, yes, it's her fault, because women are supposed to be discerning when it comes with who they allow to bless them with the greatest gift a woman can give a man. And if women are out here just, spreading willy-nilly and letting somebody shoot up the club who they know, and they know this guy is not a decent man, that woman knows that. If she's allowing this guy to shoot up her club and produce offspring from that, yes, it's her fault, because she is in control of access to her body. And if she is allowing someone access to her body that's not a decent man, that can't provide, that doesn't protect, and is not going to stay around, it's her fault. Yes, it's her fault, sir. You might not like that, but it is. It's her fault. It's nobody else's fault but hers. And you cannot have a family with women and children. That's why we don't have a community. Let's jump back into this nonsense.
I'll blame men for being gay and say, yo, you grew up without a father. Do you see how you just pointed back to the issue?
Well, there it is. So he's upset. He's upset that obviously he's getting a raw deal in life by being of that community, of the ABC community. And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that that community, the people in that community were born that way. I didn't know they were made that way by not having fathers now. So there are some contradictory points he's making here. On one hand, he's saying that, little boys become that way because of absentee fathers. But then when we hear their stuff in media, it's you're born that way. So which one is it, sir? I'm asking you because you're part of that community. Which one is it? Are you born that way or are you made that way? Because to me, what you've been saying for the past 2 or 3 decades in the media is that you're born that way. Let's jump back in.
Y'all blame women for having too many kids as if they made them kids by themselves. You keep pointing back to the issue. I'll be wanting people to hold y'all down, but at the same time, if they too good at it, then they too independent. Then you want to say, oh yeah, like you don't need me. They kind of don't. Maybe what y'all.
And you know what? I'll agree with you on that point. Women don't need men in modern society because men have civilized the society in such a way that women can work and produce their own resources. They can have their own homes. They can have their own cars, insurance, health insurance. Women can have everything they need without a man. So yes, you're correct. Women don't need men. However, sir, the problem is they want men. That's the problem. And when you create a society of women who do not need men, they choose men through atavistic ways. Like the guy that's 6 feet tall, the guy that has a six pack, 6 inches below, and earns 6 figures. So they're going after superficial things, and then you want to blame the very men that those women ignore for the problems in the black community when women are only choosing what 16 to 18% of the available male population to them to breed with. So when they're going after guys based on atavistic reasons, you get this results. You get these results. You get a community full of fatherless children because you're making bad choices. The problem is the choices that women make, sir. Yeah, you're right. They don't need us, but they should. Jump back in.
Should start considering is that maybe our community is meant to be matriarchal. Y'all just can't accept it because it doesn't fit into what the white man has told you to believe. They're trying to do.
This is the second time he's brought up white men, and I missed it the first time. Sir, we live in a white society. This society was created and civilized by white people, yeah, through our labor, but it's still their society. And if we want to thrive in this society, we have to do what's called assimilation, meaning we have to be what they perceive in their culture as acceptable. And it baffles my mind that when black men assimilate and can thrive and be productive in the white man's world, then that's a negative. But when they can't assimilate and they become thugs and gangsters and pookies and ray-rays and they don't do well in the white man society, then that's a problem. So it's a catch-22. What do you want black men to do? I mean, I think y'all want us to be these super Negroes where we can do this and do that and then meet y'all in the middle where y'all accept it. And this is total nonsense. Black men have to assimilate into white society if they want to thrive and be prosperous. But we do have to reach back and build up our own community so we don't have to deal in their society the way they want us to. It's called assimilation. You might want to look it up.
Everything that the white man does, but you're just trying to do it in black. It's literally the same shit. I mean, y'all are the most homophobic, the most misogynistic, the most transphobic, the most colorist, the most texturist, like the most xenophobic. And you are the most likely to date outside of your race. Y'all are.
Who taught us to be that way, sir? Like I said with Stefco, is that just something that fell out the sky? Or was that something that was taught to us? I mean, all those things you name, all those isms you went down the list of, you can find those very prevalent in the white community as well. And the last time I checked, we only make up about 12% of the population. So we can't have that great impact on society being only 12% of the population. The people you need to look at for all those isms you just listed off is the dominant society. But you don't want to do that because it's hard to punch up. It's easy to punch down. Isn't it, sir? Bring a clip back.
A walking contradiction and a walking joke, and it's not funny. I always want to talk about
definitely not funny.
Generational curses and building generational wealth. But you don't even have life insurance. Anytime you die, we got to do a damn GoFundMe. Y'all can't even die right.
All right, let me stop right there. You're being, hyperbolic now. Burial insurance does not perpetuate generational wealth. It doesn't, sir. Insurance should never be the factor that perpetuates generational wealth. It should be building a strong community, building thriving businesses and banks, and educating your populace. That's what builds generational wealth, not some damn burial insurance or life insurance, you dumb.
I've been trying to stick this square peg in a round hole for centuries, and it just doesn't work because you're not meant to be the head of the household. You were never meant to be. That's why the shit doesn't work.
All right, let me stop it. That was the end of that. The guy said we were never meant to be the head of the household. I'll agree with you on that point because when we were brought over here, we were just used as cattle and as labor. So you're right. We were never meant to be head of household. White people didn't know what to do with us after slavery. So now we're this concoction of dysfunctionality. And you want to keep pointing the finger back at black men as if we're the only dysfunctional component to the community. When we're all dysfunctional, black men and black women as a whole. We all need therapy. I mean, this is just an attack, man. Like I said, I'm not going to denigrate him. What he did was just flat out an attack. And it was just pandering to a group of women who don't want to take accountability for their bad choices. I'll catch y'all in my closing, man. All right, y'all, we're done with that reaction. Let me keep this short and sweet. The gentleman has some very colorful things to say about black men in regards to our failings in the community. But I also want to bring this point to him. And I'm doing this and being fair and balanced as I can be. You're only listening to one side of the story. There's more than one side of a story. There's actually three sides. Theirs, yours, and the truth. And everyone's point of view lies somewhere in between the middle of the truth. So if you're only listening to one side and you're pandering to that side because you feel as if you're part of that side, then I gotta ask this question, man. Are you doing due diligence to bridge the gap between what's going on in our community? Or are you just critiquing it from a very nasty point of view to make black men feel bad or denigrate black men? I mean, I'm just asking that question. I want to know what's the point or the purpose of your whole diatribe. What was the point of that? Did someone piss you off that day? Did you hear something you didn't like and you felt like you wanted to go on a tangent or a rant about black men and the failings that we're doing in our community? Because I had to ask, what's the end game? What's the point of doing videos like this? Because they don't help, they only agitate the gender war, and they really just show that we have a lot of contentious relationships in our community that we really need to get therapy and help for. We got to stop this. We cannot keep denigrating each other on social media. It doesn't help. It really doesn't. And I'm not gonna go any further with that. I just wanted to end it on that point. We got to start bridging the gap between black men and black women with all of this contentious hate that we have for one another. We got to find some common ground and we got to get past this gender war. I mean, I don't know what else to tell y'all. We're not going to have a community if we don't get past this, because other people, they're tribing up. They have their families intact. They have a patriarchal society that works. And we're trying to buck the system and come up with something new, and it's failing. It hasn't worked in 60 years. I'm sorry. It has not worked in 60 years. It hasn't produced tangible results that show we need to keep going in this direction. That's all I got, man. Look, like, share, and please subscribe to the content if you're digging on it. Get it cracking in the comments, man. That's all I got. In closing, let me say this. Adults shouldn't have dreams but goals, because dreams can lie in the realm of fantasy, where goals can be attained through hard work, dedication, perseverance, and tangible evidence to show for your hustle. That's all I got, man. I'll see y'all in the credits. 2 fingers. Peace. Black Jesus.